Medications, go ahead.
Okay,
Okay,
so now
moving on. So moving on.
so I've given my medications, I've scanned, I'm in the patient's room, I know I have the correct patient because the scanner is checking correct patient, correct medication, and now I can give them. So that's a huge improvement of the electronic health record. The other beauty is as I give something, I can go to results review to see what the other departments are doing. It's a very easy way to see what's going on. I can check the patient's vital signs here. In this case, I can see the patient was placed on the BiPAP at 12:05. I can see what the breath sounds were. I can see the breathing treatment and so on. And what's exciting is all this is tied together. No matter what discipline I am, I can pull up different results based on this. We have micro labs, vital signs, imaging if they had it. Look at this, you can see all this information. So that's results review. My favorite tab that I think the doctors and physicians were really like, when they admit a patient to the hospital, it's very easy to go to the inpatient, outpatient summary, or for the physicians, it's called the M pages. And as you can see, there's just a wealth of information here on a quick overview of how the patient's doing. It's a great way to do a handoff for nursing, for respiratory to each other. Usually if they had a H&P and progress notes, it'll all be sitting in here. But it's just a quick overview for everybody to always be on the same page. So those are kind of the beauties of the electronic health record in my current state. Of course, as you do anything, charges are dropped automatically. You can view charges. I don't know if this patient will have any. Oh, he does. So he has a lot of charges, and this is what it'll look like. So then I want to move on to what's called peripheral technology. These are new things that are not necessarily on the screen, but they're coming for the future. And so one of the things is, the number one thing in my opinion that patients really love is the patient portal. It's also called MyChart. I'm at home, I'm the patient, I had a doctor's visit, I can go look at my lab work, I can look at my x-rays, I can schedule a doctor's appointment, and my favorite is you can even text the doctor to say, ask a question, hey, I need to get a medication refill. But patient portal is a huge patient satisfier that we are lacking at this point. And what will happen is, again, all the results will tie together, so we'll be very knowledgeable when the patient refills their prescription and so on. So that's that first one. The next one is called M technology or remote monitoring. It's all that type of stuff. And patients can be followed on an outpatient basis with remote monitoring. And I'm going to give you an example of that in a minute. So one of the things that we've incorporated since I've been here about a year, trying to figure out what this rural community needed. And one of the things that stood out is we have a lot of heart attacks in our community. So we have implemented what's called Code STEMI. And Code STEMI is a very forward-thinking process where if the patient complains of chest pain and they call EMS and EMS determines, yes, we are having a heart attack, automatically our emergency room is contacted and they bring in what's called the STEMI team, which would be like cath lab team. And the name of the game here is 90 minutes. You need to be from the minute I have my symptoms to in the cath lab getting the blockage removed in 90 minutes for good heart health. And so we want to really advertise that. So we're going to use social media to advertise our Code STEMI. But then also, let me take that same patient. They've now gone to the cath lab. They've now been in the hospital. Now they go to cardiac rehab. And now they go home. And the next thing we want to do as part of a remote monitoring is we want to give them a way to communicate with us via laptop or phone every single day. So they're in the cardiac failure program. And they would get an iPad or a phone and a blood pressure cuff and a glucometer and a diabetes, well that's glucometer, a pulse ox, a scale, all these things that they would check every single day at home and get these vital signs together. They'll answer questions every day based on how they're feeling. There'll be videos on nutrition, videos on maintaining blood pressure, what's the proper ranges, and then that data will be sent back to the hospital, to the cardiac nurse to monitor. And that is what's considered remote monitoring, and that is one of the goals for the future. The final thing for peripheral technology that I'm excited about is we need to get this Code STEMI word out to the community. This is a very advanced thing we're offering to a rural community, and so we want to use Facebook, Twitter. I realize we're in a rural community and people think Instagram would be another one. People think, well, why do I need to do that? It also would tie to electronic billboards that would advertise freedom from smoking classes. It would advertise our Code STEMI rates. It would tell people about Code STEMI so they know about it and can brag about it. But that's that final chapter where we would take this electronic record with all this data, incorporate it with all the physicians in the community, allow patient portal, patient monitoring, advertising to the community, and I just think this is the way of the future. It's already been implemented in all the inner city hospitals and suburbans, and it's time for the rural community. So I'm hoping you will join me on this journey that is very exciting for our community. Thank you.